I am going to be using this video as an example on how we can finally take all of your different visual or moving illustrations and put them together into one timeline. So let me just catch up a little bit on what we've got. I have composition 1, which basically is the master composition, but we haven't put a lot of things together in it, so looks pretty much like the others. I have the Nebuchadnezzar, which is the composition and where we get him to crawl. I have the Newton, where we use some 3D. We move the anchor point and we play with 3D animation. And then I have Pity here, which we used kind of different grouping selections to move multiple parts. So what I want to do is I'm going to put all three of these together. And since your assignment is, of course, to take three short moving illustrations and put them together, this is exactly what you'd be doing. So first I have my major composition here. And that first major composition currently is 15 seconds long. That is not really enough to hold all of them. So it's easy to change. You go up to the composition itself up here in the projects panel. And if you two-finger click or right click or option click, whatever your computer does, you can go to composition settings. And this will bring up that window when you're originally bringing, whenever you're making a new composition. And all I have to do is go down to duration here and turn it up to 45 seconds. Now you can see down here in the timeline, it's 3 times as long. Now the nice part is since I've done all three of these moving illustrations as different compositions, it's going to be really easy to put them all together. So first let me go to composition 1, and you can see if you go down here where there's this little mountain thing, icon. If you move this left and right, this is going to be how much of the timeline it's viewing. So I'm going to move it to the smaller mountain, so I'm kind of farther away. And you can now see that this composition, which we made longer, we can see all 45 seconds of. Since I already have Newton and Pity pre-composed, I can go ahead and just drag these compositions into the main composition. And I can sit and move this forward right there. And I can take Pity and move it and drag it to the very end. And you'll see that we can now have, here, so we now have Nebuchadnezzar, we have Newton, and we have Pity all together. Now, it's not quite done. I think each one could use some adjustments. So, and you can still play, now that these compositions are within a composition, it doesn't mean that you have to, take them exactly as they are. So, like, for example, with Newton, he's obviously too small. So I can sit there and I'll just enlarge Newton until he's about right. And same thing with Pity. I can go and, go to the timeline with Pity, and I can scale her up. I don't necessarily like where he is on position. Now that he's scaled up. So let's change his position so he is, there we go, so we can see him. And this is actually technically not bad. There's all three moving illustrations. Now, I would probably maybe add some more movement because I feel like all these together just seem a little static. So what I might do is um, I could take the background here to Newton, and I'm just going to give it a slight scale. So it goes from a little bit bigger, just to give it a sense of motion. I also probably need to also give it a sense, move its position up. So that let me go back. Yeah, so it, oops, move its position up a bit, so it looks like even though it's getting bigger, yeah, he's crawling on the same thing. Then I could also add with Newton a position here and a position here. So maybe actually his frame just moves a little bit, like it starts more towards the left and then moves a little bit more towards the right, because the animation is essentially his hand, so it might be nice to have that be more go more central. And also, since Nebuchadnezzar scaled and zoomed in, I might also make the scale also zoom in a little bit. Now I'll have to make that position, I think, go up too. And then since she seems now really static, I'll also give her a scale and position change. Keyframe. So I'll go and scale her up just a little bit, and then maybe have the position go up a little bit. Just so there's a constant state of motion with all of these. And I think I have a project. I am ready to export this to Media Encoder, and I think we're good.